Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another week of the LLC and our shenanigans. We are missing a tile. We're not sure whether Clyde's going to pop in and out of here. You know, he's busy recruiting, trying to get a jump on the rest of us. We shall have none of that, young Clyde.
He set up the show so that we would be doing this.
Exactly, and he would be
What the heck?
recruiting. Exactly, we're going to get you back for that, Clyde. But
Well,
that being said, we hope everybody has been well since we last sat in front of you. How are our tiles doing tonight? Everybody good?
that's
Yeah.
good.
Who are you tonight?
Trash
Who
pandas.
Oh Lord.
Oh wow.
See, look at my hat.
He
Okay.
said, you sound like a
Whew.
two-year-old just now.
I thought that
Look
was
at my hat.
I thought that had something to do with you talking trash to John
No,
Drummond, and
no.
Lord have mercy.
No.
Because you know that dude just throws out pandas like it's nobody's business, right?
Yeah.
And
No, this is a
he's
real.
like
It's a real minor league baseball team.
like he's like Oprah. You get a panda. You everybody gets a panda. So all right, so let's kick it off with a bang. We talked about the men's 100 last week, so let's jump right in. Let's talk about the women's 100 this week. So you got Shelly, who's won like a million titles. You know, she carries the new sprint queen. And then we've got Elaine, who just happens to have the last 4 gold medals when you have 100 and 200 combined from the Olympic Games. So do we view any of these as the favorites for Paris? And who do we view as the challengers to this throne? And of course, you got to let the governor start. These discussions have to start with the governor.
Oh man. Okay.
I
So
just want to let the audience know something before he starts, right? If you think he's good on the tiles, he's even better in person. So I just want to let you know.
so as the old saying goes, I mean, Sha'Carri is the defending world champion going into an Olympic year. She appears to have, gotten over, all of the troubles and all the stuff that's going on in her off the track. And Shelly is Shelly, dealt with injuries this year, was able to salvage it. I mean, how many people salvaged their season doing what she did? Still comes out with a medal. Elaine is now joining the camp, and she's joining Shelly, right? Or is she joining?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
So, boy, that is going to be very, very interesting. I honestly don't see anyone cracking this top 3. I just don't. Sharika, of course,
okay.
yes. Sharika, yes. So I would add Sharika to that list. In terms of, if you're looking to be anywhere in the medals, those are the 4 that you're going to have to deal with. This is going to be a completely new experience for Sha'Carri from the standpoint of now you're the hunted. You've now stamped yourself as the prohibitive favorite. You've beaten the challengers in Budapest. You're now going into Paris. You've got a lot of attention. There's a lot of lights, tension, all of that going on around her. How she deals with that is going to determine her success. I mean, how can you not count out Elaine if she's healthy? My gosh. I mean, she's one of the top 3 fastest ever. I just don't see anybody if those 4 are at their best. Good luck.
Okay. Bigly, what you got for us?
I agree. I'm very interested to see how this Shelly-Ann and Elaine duo
The
push each
dynamic.
other, and then what happens as a result, right? Because you sit there and we know what we talk about in our practices for our own groups, like what does Trash Panda say? The cream rises or whatever it is. Like everything just gets bigger. The floor gets higher, so the ceiling goes higher. That part. I am interested to see what Jujo is like off fresh legs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it going to be how some first years are kind of poop because they're not racing as much? Or is she actually as mature as she seems to be? And with this rest and the plotted races, do we see a lot come to the light? So I'm very interested in that one. Otherwise, I'd have to agree with the 4. Like that's a pretty solid, and it seems like a gap that's
cut
there.
above.
Yeah.
Okay. Trash Panda.
I believe all of the protagonists have been mentioned. The governor tried to forget a very big one, though. He tried, but I think if you, as long as you include Sharika, so you include
Yes.
all 3 Jamaicans,
Yes.
There's some interesting stories outside of that. Talu in another year with JS.
Yep.
And I mean, obviously, Dina on U.S. soil is an interesting one. I have no idea what that's going to mean. Right? Because like, it's like this. To me, no matter what Dina does and no matter what, oh my gosh, U.S. 200 champion, what is wrong with me?
Gabby.
No matter what they do in the 100, I'm always going to see them as 200-meter people. I don't know if that makes any sense.
That makes
right, because they haven't gone as far as Sharika has, which she has an identity in the 100 as well as being the dominant one in the 200. Right. Those two I still feel are running the 100 because it makes a lot of money, but they're 200-meter people. So I mean, I think all the protagonists have kind of been mentioned, but I'll say this. I feel like Elaine and Shelly Ann are doing something that no 2 people have ever had a chance to do, right? They're probably the 2 most decorated female 100-meter people ever on the women's side. And this Olympics probably will determine who the queen is. And the fact that they've decided and agreed to train together is really interesting. Yeah. Because they each need a little bit of each other to beat the other, if that makes any sense. Shelly Ann's got to be able to hold on to speed a little bit longer. And, you know, and obviously the better Elaine's start is, the worse it is for everybody at the end. So those 2 training with each other on a daily basis is incredibly interesting. But
if that is the case,
right, because they could have the same coach and not train together. We both know that.
That's yeah.
That wouldn't even surprise me, to be honest. But I'll just say it like this. You guys know I always say that the champion's a champ until somebody takes the crown from the champ. And Elaine, Olympic Elaine, is as much a thing as Papa Podium is, right? Like, these things are real. And Elaine will look different this year than she looked 2 years ago. The end of last year, Elaine tells you that.
Oh yeah.
Right? If you start at the relay leg in Budapest and go from there to the end of the season, that Elaine looks like Olympic Elaine.
Yes.
Hey, KOP, can you hear us?
I can.
Okay. Do you know what the topic is?
It sounds like we're discussing the favorites of the impending
Paris.
Paris.
100
right.
100 meters.
Yes.
We are. Or what are we doing? Way too early prognostications or something?
No, we're just talking about the women's 100 and with Shelly Ann, Elaine, and Sha'Carri, being the ones who have worn the mantle in the 100. Or do you view any of them as a favorite, or do you see somebody else being a challenger to that? That's the question.
I definitely do not see any of them being the favorite. Look, there is I know that in today's world of sport and culture, especially from a very arrogant American point of view, we like to do recency bias, and Sha'Carri is definitely the of the hour, if you will. The righteous reigning world champion. There's a vast difference between what she has done to date in her career and what Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce has done in hers, or Elaine Thompson has done in hers. So I'm not going to sit here going into an Olympic year and don the newly crowned world champion, the favorite. That's insane. It's also disrespectful. I think Sha'Carri has as good of a chance as any of those three to win it. She's proven that she can run on that stage now, and I expect that is, the goal. If you're an American horse, that's the one you bet on. Would I think that bet against the Jamaican field? Absolutely not. Not of everybody. So the new training dynamics of Elaine worry me. If you're a fan of Elaine, you can only change coaches so many times and have it work out. So, whatever's going on there, I think is ultimately a hindrance for her, but we'll see how it plays out. Dina's very talented. I'm very talented, but her rookie year, and that typically doesn't go well. And then, whatever Dean is going to be in that new environment, we'll see. But it hasn't proven she can stand up in that heat. So, I mean, I think it's the last remnant we really have in the sprint world of Jamaica versus USA, and whatever side of that you're on. I think those are all the protagonists, but a favorite, absolutely not.
Okay. Well, so I personally think that the Dina Juju dynamic is big because I see them helping each other. I think that their ability to kind of, like we've talked about before, lock into each other's rhythm will be big. Not sure how much Elaine and Mommy Rocket will actually train together, because we know, like you guys said, that they could be separate.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also of a great belief that those two, because I know they're the guy that coaches them. Guy's brilliant. He's done an incredible job with Shelly. And if he is able to instill those same attributes into Elaine, it's an issue, right? I also think that Jacko, as people call her, she's a problem. Because like we know, we want to anoint her as simply a 200-meter runner. She was a silver medalist last year in the 100. She ran 10.7 whenever she wanted, and so if she improves her pedigree, then she's an issue. And so I think that you got those four. There's always somebody out there that's going to pop up. I'd love to see Talu get over the hump. I'm not sure that JS, even he and his brilliance, can get her over that hump after what we saw last year. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a very exciting race, very exciting kind of lead up to it because of all the different variables you have around the world that are going on with it. So from a U.S. perspective, kind of like we did with the men last week, we'll start with Trash Panda. Who do you see as your way too early favorites to make the U.S. women's team in the 100?
Sha'Carri, no. I'm not really sure how it changes.
Okay, so where are your people then?
What is that? Tamari, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sha'Carri.
Sha'Carri.
I was trying to be funny. Sorry.
It did work.
Sha'Carri.
Yeah.
You know what? One of these days I'm gonna show up in Gainesville.
Okay, and I'll be here.
Keep
Don't
it
worry.
moving.
I'm not that hard to
Keep it
find.
moving.
Just stop anybody on the street. They'll tell you where to find me.
Yeah, and Gabby. Jeez.
Welcome.
For the 100.
Yeah.
Okay, Big Lee, what do you got?
Oh no.
I do think Sha'Carri will be on the team. I think Melissa Jefferson will be in the mix. This third one, I'm not sure. Like, I'm even going to the rankings just to see. I don't think the rankings are real.
I was like,
I
them
think
rankings
that
ain't gonna
Melissa-
help you.
No, but what I am doing is looking for the names that are available. I think Tamari, I think those are your top three in no particular order.
Who was on the team last year? Tamari Shakiri. Who was the third one?
Brittany Brown.
Brittany Brown.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to save y'all so y'all don't get calls from Boogie Johnson. You disrespecting this.
I'm not concerned.
So I'm just saying I consciously made that
Yeah,
decision.
no.
I'll own that
Okay.
one.
Good job, Big League. Governor, what you got?
I'm gonna say Shakari, Twanisha, and Tamari.
Okay. So the Florida girls.
Yes.
Okay. KOP.
I mean, Shakari, Tamari Davis. I mean, I think those two, only really an injury of some sort would keep those two out of there. I think third is wide open. I think it's about as wide open as it's been in years. God. I mean, listen, with the restructuring that has gone on the American side with coaching moves and all of that, I would say it's bound to be someone out of the so-called block in Dennis Mitchell's camp, right? He has everybody. So if you're going to pick somebody out of there, I mean, for me, it would be TT.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Dennis's camp is loaded. We do know that Brittany Brown will show up.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, you're crazy to bet against Shakiri. I think the thing with Tamari will be, does she continue her ascent? Right. If she continues on the path she's had, she's a problem. She's a big problem. Right. She's on her way to 1080 low, if not faster.
Yep.
And the thing with her is she starts so well. Right. So that's helpful for her. So I think on the American side, I mean, obviously there's Shakiri, and then I think behind Shakiri, you can pick 4 or 5 people and say, hey, who shows up?
Might be on the team. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. There might be a collegiate girl out there. When I was kind of like Melissa Jefferson a few years ago, right? There's always going to be somebody that just pops out of the woodwork and that we're not expecting. So.
I mean,
the only reason I picked
Aaliyah
Gabby is
Hobbs
just because
has the talent. I mean,
yes,
she does. Yeah.
Yes.
Gosh.
I mean, the only reason I picked Gabby is because I think top end speed, Shakari's the only one that's faster. So then the only question then is like, what happens? Who handles the pressure of the Olympic trials final start, right? And race model. And so like, Gabby is so experienced at this point. If I'll say this, she and Tanja will not have her in the 100 unless they firmly believe she's going to be on the team in the 100.
Am I the only one in America that wants Gabby to try to 2-4 double?
See, listen.
I would much
Can
prefer.
you say that again out loud for the people in the back?
Look,
the 4-2 doubles is
great
screaming
respect for
her.
Tanja. I'm not trying to tell Tanja how to coach, so don't start that nonsense. But I would love to see Gabby attempt that double because I think she can do it. I do.
Yeah.
I do. So, all right. So let's look at the NFL landscape here for a second, guys. So, a few weeks ago, we talked about the NFL. I think that was consistent. It's the Chiefs, it's the Eagles. And since then, there's been a lot of craziness going in the NFL. So after these few weeks, what are our thoughts on who the favorites are, or who looks to you guys like they're ready to make a run into and through the playoffs now that the thing that's happened over the last 3 or 4 weeks
that we haven't been looking at before, or you're talking
just based on what's going on now, not what was going on 3 or 4 weeks ago. Okay. So based on the trends we've seen over the last 3 or 4 weeks, who do you guys think looks like they're ready to make a run into and then through the playoffs as we sit today? So we're gonna start with Trash Panda, the NFL expert on this one.
A good place to start.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm a pretty smart guy sometimes, you know.
I mean, I think in the NFC, there's one real team, and then there's two sort of real teams, and then there's the rest, right? Like the 49ers showed you this weekend that if they get a chance to dictate the game, you're not going to win, right? And the next two best teams in the NFC, they have pretty much owned the Cowboys and the Eagles. So I think it comes down to them and the NFC side. One of them will play the 49ers for the NFC Championship, and I think that the Niners will end up in the Super Bowl. On the AFC, if we're going to be honest, nobody wants to hear me when I say this. The Chiefs are still worlds better than everybody else. And I say that even though they lost last weekend, because no, listen, I get it. Even though they lost last weekend, because here's the problem. They are playing as a team about as badly as they can play. They have the most drops in the NFL, right? They got the best quarterback who's putting balls in both hands, and balls are still dropping on the ground, right? They got these weird set of turnovers that are happening, yet they still have the second best record in the AFC.
Yeah.
And so, like, at the end of the day, I keep saying this, they're playing poorly and are still going to play at home.
Yep.
So until I see something different, because also everybody else in the AFC seems to be falling apart around them, right? Like, who believes in Buffalo anymore? Nobody. Listen, Cincinnati's backup quarterback, he may not be Brock Purdy, but like, he's better than folks thought. He still ain't Joe Burrow. Like, let's not go crazy.
And they're like 6-6 or 5-7.
Right, and that's the point, right? Like, they're like, look, Jacksonville, I'm supposed to believe in that, and T-Law just got a high ankle sprain. Like, I'm not buying it. Like, until I see another team that is a complete team, like a 49er version in the AFC, ain't nobody beating the Chiefs.
Okay. Big league. I'll let you follow that.
I unfortunately agree.
Yeah.
And I
we know you're a 49ers fan.
Yeah, only on the AFC side.
We'll start there.
Yeah. So on the NFC side, I think it's pretty cut and clear. Like, it's just a dominant game. You know, granted, I did miss 7 weeks of football, so like, I heard the yelling in the house. I saw what I saw on Twitter and stuff. But on the AFC, I'll say, like, even though they're not as strong, the winning records say that they're doing some things right at the right time, right? The Jags, the Ravens, and whatnot. But I think when you get into the playoff time, when it comes to playing under the pressure and actually putting things together in a timely manner, I don't see it overcoming the Chiefs. So I unfortunately agree the gentleman to my right, but that is that.
Right.
So I would love to see Chiefs Niners. I think that's a great game to watch.
AOP, what you got? You're on mute, by the way. There you go.
What I got is a headache listening to the unrelenting, at all costs slurping of the Kansas City Chiefs. They looked terrible. And
that is so
understand,
wild for you to say.
I understand the instinct. Listen, I'm an Andy Reid fan. He's brilliant. I get it. But the fact of the matter is that the idea that the Chiefs currently are heads and shoulders above everybody else in the AFC is not proven out on the field. So we'll see what happens in the playoffs. They may or may not have home field advantage come playoff time. They're definitely not running away with it right now. So, whatever. But if there's a challenger in the AFC right now, I would think that would be Baltimore primarily, and any of the teams that give Chiefs fits on defense. And right now, there's been a few of those. But I'll stick with Baltimore for now to keep it simple. Now on the NFC side, again, fundamentally disagree. Let's be clear. The 49ers, if healthy, are going to destroy the NFC. The Eagles are for real, but they got to the Super Bowl playing against Christian McCaffrey at quarterback. So we'll see how that ends. The Cowboys are fugazi. They are always fugazi. They are not real. They are not a challenge. The Detroit
So why
Lions.
do you say you disagree? You say you agree?
Because you said that the Cowboys and the Eagles are the next two best teams, and they're absolutely not. The Eagles are. The Cowboys are not better than Detroit. The Cowboys are not better than whoever's. The Cowboys are going to get put out in the first round like they always get put out in the first round. The Cowboys might lose to whoever wins the NFC.
Didn't they win the first round game last year?
They sure did, playing against whoever. They're going to lose.
So you can't say like you said. You can't say like they do every year because they
fantastic.
Yeah,
the Cowboys are as fugazi gets.
You're not believing in Dak for MVP?
And that's okay. And you know what? That's hilarious. But since you brought that up, let me throw this out there.
No, I live in Texas and I hear it every day. That's only.
Oh, I know you. I know you do. Let me be very, very clear, because this used to happen, and I am not comparing the two. You know I'm not. If you are a numbers person, then by the numbers, Brock Purdy is supposed to be the MVP. But the problem is that, much like Tom Brady back in the day, because he was drafted so low, people are not giving him the credit for the play that he is having. Dak's having a good season, but the idea that he's the MVP of the league is laughable. It's laughable. So if you're into numbers, it's Brock Purdy. If you're into who's leading the better team, it's Brock Purdy. And I'd rather see it go to Patrick Mahomes again. It ain't Dak. It damn sure ain't Dak.
I mean, the funny part is,
hold on a second. What's the issue with that?
Go ahead.
Like, why is it laughable? The man's playing maybe the best season of his life, and it's laughable.
The best season of his life is a very low bar.
No, it's not. It's not a low bar.
Actually.
No, it's not. It is not. See, okay, here's the thing. Like, Dak has not been a leader of, getting teams into the playoffs and deep into the playoffs. But if you take a good look at Dak, when Dak is healthy, he plays very well. He always has.
Mr. Lucius, right? Dak has only beaten trash teams.
Okay, hold on a second. I don't care if he's beating less than trash teams.
You asked what the issue was.
So hold on a second. So you gave me your issue. So now my retort to that is this. Okay, we have to stop acting as if Dak Prescott is terrible, because he's not. We have to put that. Let's see. Okay, so but my thing, the fact that you're talking about he's laughable as a candidate for the MVP is offensive. Like, the man is not trash. The man plays in the NFL and he's playing at a high level. So maybe you think somebody's better than him, and I'm fine with that. But like, let's not demean the guy and say it's laughable, like he's just not any good. But anyway, so okay. First of all, Panda, you get a Panda for bringing that mess up, right? So we're gonna move on.
Bringing what mess up?
We're gonna stick to the topic.
Wait, what mess?
Governor, no, look, we're done.
I didn't bring anything up. Don't blame me.
You did.
You absolutely brought it up.
Oh, man.
I live in Texas. I hear this every day.
You opened up
the biggest can of worms.
The MVP of the league should be Tyreek Hill.
Okay, hold on a second. We're talking about the playoff teams. So you get a Panda, and
Tyreek Hill is on a playoff team.
Okay, we're done.
He should win the MVP.
We're done, Governor.
All right, so I mean, I am of this, very similar beliefs based on what we're seeing now, and I stress now, because this has been a very schizophrenic NFL season. I think what is obvious with the 49ers is that if one or two particulars go down for any period of time, that team craters. It is mind-boggling how much the team drops down. I mean, to think that squad lost 3 games in a row this season, after what we just saw against Philly, I'm telling you, man, it's very precarious. Like, what we're witnessing this year is that, injuries are going to make or break seasons. Like, there just aren't enough. Maybe things have watered down so much in the league now that once the starters get hurt, I mean, it's crazy. So right now, I don't see anybody beating the 49ers. I really don't. They're that good.
As long as Debo stays healthy.
There you go.
Hey.
There you go. Now,
it's not even Debo. It's about Trent Williams.
Thank you.
Can we please let the governor finish?
As far as the AFC is concerned, again, I'm with Trash Panda. until somebody beats Patrick Mahomes at home in the playoffs, sorry, he will be at the dance. He's going to be at the dance. What we're seeing right now is they're still trying to figure stuff out. They're still trying to put together what their plan is. They have a lot of moving parts. There are a ton of moving parts. I mean, the last 2 games that they lost came down to the last play of the game. It's not that they weren't getting blown out or anything like that. So I have to see, if I'm using my crystal ball, I can see a 49ers Chiefs Super Bowl.
Yeah, see, from where I sit, like after what you watch the 49ers do and the way they've been playing, especially on the defensive side of the ball, like they're scary, right?
Oh.
It's scary. But it's football. So my thing is, can they sustain this high level of excellence throughout the playoffs? Now, if they do that, I think they're the best team. I also tend to believe that Philly are way better than they showed, right? And now the question will be how does Philly respond?
Yeah.
What changes, what adjustments do they make, provided they can get back to a game with Frisco again, right? I personally love the Dallas Cowboys story, right? I think that they're playing good football. They're beating the teams put in front of them. Now, do I think that Dallas is going to Super Bowl? Unfortunately, folks, we do not. But it's a great story. It is a great story.
And to Clyde's point, Sir Lucius, Dak Prescott is second in QBR in the entire league right now to Brock Purdy. Okay,
right. So, but to my point, he's not trash. Right. That's all I'm saying. So, like when you go to the AFC side of things, I think that same thing. Like Kansas City is Kansas City. Like they've proven that. I mean, I think since Mahomes has been in the league, he's the straw that stirs that drink. And I just got to believe with him and the brilliance of Andy Reid, they'll figure it out. I kind of like, I'm not, until Lamar Jackson shows me he can be an NFL quarterback and not an NFL quarterback who wants to run every now and then when he shouldn't. He just hasn't shown me the ability to lead a team to a championship because of the decisions he makes. And I think that we're forgetting a team that could upset the apple cart with anybody. That's the Dolphins.
Miami.
Absolutely.
Right? Like if Miami, when Miami is on all cylinders on offense, they're almost impossible to stop. Because I would love, I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to reach out to somebody and say, I want you to get the Dolphins and bring them to the Florida Relays and run a 4x1.
I mean, for sure.
Right? Exhibition.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like I would love to see that. Right. And so I think that when, speed kills, and as Brooks Johnson said, speed kills the people that don't have it. Right. And like nobody's as fast as the Dolphins. So if the Dolphins can find a way to stop people, nobody can stop them. So I think they're a factor. I still think the Chiefs are the favorite in my mind anyway. But I think that the Dolphins are a team that could clearly upset the apple cart in the AFC. Clearly could.
I just, the funny part about the Chiefs is like, it's like I said earlier, right? They're not playing great at all on offense, but their defense is really good.
Yep. Keeping them in games.
Patrick Mahomes hasn't had a real defense since he's been in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like they got they don't have like a old school like Peyton Manning's Colts teams, right? The defense was slated to give up 28 because they knew that they were always going to score 35.
Yep.
Right. That's
or
how the
42
Chiefs
or 49.
Yeah,
right.
That's how the Chiefs have been built up until this year, right? But they can win the games with 21 points now. Right. And so literally, if they just get, I don't know, wide receiver who can consistently catch the football.
Yeah.
No, I saw a stat yesterday that blew my mind. What's old boy's name that has 5 interceptions, touchdowns for the Cowboys?
Bland
has more touchdowns than any Kansas City Chief wide receiver.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Just let that wash over you, right? Like,
but see, he's not gonna get any pub because he plays for the Fugazi Cowboys. So
right.
Miami is basically.
And we heard nothing you said.
I said Miami is basically Dallas on the AFC side.
Ooh.
Wow.
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 Anyway, so what we're gonna do now, we're gonna change this topic quickly because KOP is being KOP. So we have seen a few head coaching hires in the collegiate track and field world over the last few weeks. What do we view as the major challenges that these coaches will face in taking over programs at mid-year? Right, and we're gonna start with the illustrious big league on this one because she's been around restructuring program or two in her life. Yeah, so
I mean, and amidst the big one right now, right? Not in it,
right.
on side adjacent to it. I think the biggest thing, okay, not biggest. This is no particular order. Transfer portal, managing that going into the end of the semester. I think that's a big challenge right now because we've set into these windows. Now you've got to work early, work fast, get it done, and not even on the incoming, but the outgoing as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big one. I'm not going to say it's the most important. That's a big one, a big challenge. I think the other challenge is the hiring process.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you hire? Who do you keep? If you're hiring, are they your long-term hire or is it just a 6-month hire? If you're keeping anybody, is this a 6-month keep or is this an ongoing keep? And I don't know, the human side of me says if you're keeping someone, you're going to get to know that person, whether how personal you make that or not, but then you're going to alter their life after. And maybe that's why I can't be a big head coach in the long run. But that part. And then other mid-year is on the personal side, if you happen to have a family, I know that some of these new hires have, you're also managing what your family is doing. Are they moving in November, December as well? Or are you going to be a single part-time parent until June, July? I think those are the big 3 things that stick out in my mind in these mid-year transitions.
Okay. Governor?
All of those things are huge things. And you're speaking about a very particular type of situation that I don't envy anyone that decides A, to make that move, or B, is in that situation, because it was one thing for you to make that move to take over a program. It's another thing for assistants to make that move. It's a bit different. It's a lot different actually, because so let's talk about the scenario. You have a staff that's there, right? And let's say you choose to hold on to that staff. Well, you now have to figure out how to, first of all, build a bridge, right? And for the next 6 months, 5-6 months, and there have to be conversations right away about what your philosophy is, what your expectations are, right? You have to get to know your team, who you're dealing with, who the prognosticators are, where's the hierarchy, what kind of team have you inherited? Like, you've got to know, okay, what is the history? Is there a winning history with this team, right? Is there, so all of those things you have to take into account the minute you step into that office and the minute you sit in that chair. And you have to be a quick study, right? Recruiting. I mean, you have got to get on the ball because you've got 2 cycles coming in March and in May, right? And if you're trying to build something for the future, it starts there, right? And so there are a ton of challenges, man. There are a ton of challenges that you have to address. Again, a big part, as Big Leagues said, if your significant other has a job that she can't just pick up and leave, you're talking about two households for the time being. And that conversation has to be had, you know, and you know, when you're going to get a chance to see your kids, all of that, that's a big deal, right? So again, like I said, I don't envy anyone making that move, but at the same time, I mean, once you do make that move, you have to be prepared for all of that.
KOP, what you got for us?
I agree with everything that was said. I would simply add these three: buy-in.
Yep.
Because these new athletes that you have inherited didn't sign to come run for you. They don't know anything about your vision, and you may not necessarily want to recruit these people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a learning process. Everybody's being evaluated on both ends, and if you don't, crash burn real fast and get real ugly of transfer portals. Secondly, managing expectations. Managing expectations.
And we lost you.
So close.
Things,
Oh, he's back.
you know, for me, the quick turnaround transition is obviously the recruiting, because and if you don't do anything in the immediate, you know, in the immediate early time period, you're going to be that much further behind the 8-ball.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in theory, the transfer portal can help with that, but that's also the riskiest way to go about business, because in the transfer, so you're at your own risk.
All right, what do you got for us, Trash Panda? I know you got a lot, so everybody hold on to your seats.
I don't really. I mean, there's been a lot of things that have been said. I will say my 2 or 3 are really simple. One, no matter when you get hired, right, the most important thing you do is hire a staff. So taking over any program at mid-year that needs people to be hired makes that task probably 4 times harder than it would be under any other circumstance.
Right.
Right? Because you have to prognosticate and decide, is the person I really want somebody I can't get till June, or is the person I really want somebody I can convince to leave where they are to come now? Right? And so the first part of that is you have to decide. You have to be able to discern who the people are you really want. So that like taking over mid-year just makes that exercise even that much more difficult. Number 2, and I think in one particular case, this is kind of being undersold, but I think it's really, really, really relevant in the times we are in. If you're in one of these programs that is changing conferences, and there's a lot of those, right? That may require a complete overhaul of your roster, right? Because if you're built for the WAC and now you're in the Pac-12, the new Pac-12, right? If you're built for the Mountain West and now you're in a Power 5 conference, like I'm just making these things up as they go forward. If you've been in the Pac-12 and now you're built for now you're going to the ACC. Again, remaking your roster it's easier with the portal, but obviously way more difficult because of the portal. If you're taking over a program right before the window for the portal opens, that makes that job 3 times harder, right? Because hopefully you were already deeply invested in what you would have done at your old place in the portal, so you can at least bring that information to the new place. But that only works in your event area. Now you're in charge of all the event areas in regards to that. And then the last part is setting of culture. And I heard someone say the other day that they felt like culture and accountability were the most overrated and overused terms in athletics. And I was going to argue with the person, and I decided not to, because I think they may or may not be overused as buzzwords, but I also think they are the most important things in successful programs. And building a culture is really hard to do in the middle of the race, right? Like, it's easier to build a culture when everything's supposed to be hard, right? The fall. Everybody's got their oars in the water and everybody understands that we got to row right now. But it's December. Like, most people, especially really good athletes, are looking at competing within a month, right? And now you're coming in and telling them, hey, look over here. Pay attention to me, because I'm going to tell you how we're going to do things going forward. If that aligns with the way they already were thinking, that's great. If it doesn't, we have a massive problem, because they are in pre-comp mode mentally, and you are going to change their ship and go, right? Because let's suppose you decide, look, we're going to punt on the indoor season, and you redshirt everybody who you can redshirt for indoors. I mean, that could derail some people mentally. If they were preparing to jump, and they were already in their mind, they're visualizing about jumping far on Arkansas's runway or whatever it is. And so I think that those three things are always the most important three things, but I think they're made even tougher by taking over a program in mid-year. It's just a really tough thing to do.
I'm going to start by saying, wow, that if you thought that wasn't a lot, I hate to see what you think a lot is. But anyway, so I'm going to, on the roster building thing, right? I think that the big key here is that, I think it's the portal makes it easier if you have money, right? If you have money and the ability to recruit, the portal makes it easier, because if they just got hired, the portal opened last week. The portal's been open for 5 days now, right?
Right.
So, like, and there's always availability for people to come in mid-year, so you can definitely get better. I personally think that the culture thing is the biggest piece, because you have to go in and establish. I would rather go in as a mid-year coach and not be very good in the indoor season, and sacrifice an indoor season for the establishment of a great culture that leads us to better things down the road. And so I think the worst thing you can do is just go in there and be rah-rah, we're going to win this, we're going to win that. And then you don't win this and that. And then now you have no culture, and you have no buy-in, and you have no trust. That goes away right away. So the first thing you got to do, whether it's the mid-year or the beginning of the year, you have to go in and you have to establish a line of trust and a lot of belief in who you are and what you do, and show them a path to the success that you want them to have. Because if you don't do that, it's going to go south and south fast. So I agree with the culture. See, I think that the oars you talk about, I don't care when it is. If your oars aren't in the same lake that mine are in, or the same ocean mine are in, then you can't be around here, right? So those oars have to be in that water, and we all have to be on the same boat, paddling in the same direction every single day. And if you don't want to do that, then it's not going to work. And then, that's where the transfer portal comes in, right? All right, so hey, question and answer with Big League Chew.
Here we go.
Yeah. Are thy ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
It's just simple. You've heard the questions before, so it's not like nothing.
Oh, you think she was paying attention?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna find
out.
Yeah. So, what movie would you say resembles your life the most?
Resembles my life. I don't know. I watch the same movies. I don't know if it's not in my wheelhouse. Okay, so not a movie. Sorry. Dang. Aquafina, Comedy Central. Noah. No. Dang.
We're just gonna say she doesn't.
Crazy Rich Asians?
No. Okay, sure. Crazy Rich Asians.
Okay, there you
go. Similar.
Sure. For those of you who have seen that movie, go watch that.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Are
Oh,
you a
goodness.
morning or a night person?
Both.
Oh wow, that's new. Okay.
I am
What
a morning and a night
coaches-
person.
I just said,
Mm.
Okay. What coach or coaches have influenced you the most in reference to your coaching style?
Tiles.
Hmm.
Really?
This
These
ought to,
tiles.
this one, this. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I have ones who had set me on my path of getting here, but the influence of my coaching style is the tiles.
We thank you.
Okay.
What superpowers did you wish you had as a kid?
So this is the one that I was giggling inside about last week. And this is a show from my age, was Out of This World. And she used to put her fingers together and pause the world.
Hmm.
And she would go do what she needed to do. And then she would put her fingers back together and it would be play. So it was play and pause.
So you wanted a pause button.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us something about you that others would consider weird.
Where do we start? To pick one.
how much time?
Just
we
one.
got?
Just pick one. Just one.
Just one.
That's weird about me.
That others would find weird. Not that you think it's weird.
Yeah. There's a lot. So I'm just gonna generalize it as my OCD tics.
Okay. Well, I want to tell you this. Anybody that knows you does not find the fact we can tell you're OCD. So
Okay, wait, here,
I'm
I'll
gonna
tell you
leave
one.
that.
There's a weird one. When I eat candy, specifically M&Ms or like Reese's Pieces, I have to chew equal number to equal side, each side. So like if
Okay,
I had
anyway.
2 on this side, I have to eat 2 on this
Whoa.
side.
I
If
want
it's
you to
3,
do
I
me
have
a
to eat 3.
favor. I want you to do it. I want you to do the world a favor. Don't ever repeat that story again, ever.
Did y'all
Never.
hear me
Sorry.
say how much time do you have?
Yes. Okay. What do you feel is your greatest accomplishment to date?
The kids. I mean, 2 kids that are alive still.
Man,
If
we
they
are
made a-
corny. Every single one of us said the same damn answer.
But there's just nothing else.
Yeah,
Ask
that's
me
the
in,
right
ask
answer,
me in a
right?
week if we
It
get a
is the
college
right
acceptance.
answer.
But if we get a college acceptance, it'll be that next week.
When you get a college
When
acceptance.
I get the college,
Speak
you're
it into
absolutely right.
existence. There you go.
When we do.
If they made a movie about your life, who would you choose to direct it and why?
I suck at directors. I have no clue who directors are. Like I literally don't know.
Okay, so we're gonna let. I'm just gonna put the governor as your director of your.
Okay, perfect.
He'll do a good job. He'll do a good
Yeah,
job.
I have no idea about directors.
Okay, would you rather be the head of world athletics or the president of a country?
Head of World Athletics. Well, no, okay, no. Oh man, no, I'll
That's
go
a
with that one.
lie.
I'll go with that one.
Okay, do you have a bucket list?
No.
Somehow that doesn't surprise
Yeah. No.
me. Okay. Tell us one thing you remember your mom always said to you when you were growing up.
You can't treat others better than you treat your own.
Who was your favorite track and field athlete growing up?
Flojo.
Wow. There you go. All right, so this is a question for the tiles, right? So I'm going to give you one athlete in track and field to build a program around, to build a team around. Who is your first draft pick? One for the men and one for the women.
Current athlete or ever?
Current. No, current. We ain't doing all that. Yeah,
I was like, where are we going?
No.
Current collegiate.
No. Because see, this guy's eyes start blinking. He was too excited. See, don't try to hold him up now. Yeah. So okay, we'll start ladies first. So give me one. We'll start on the male side. Okay, so if you're gonna build, so let's say you're gonna build Team USA, right?
Okay, not collegiate.
Okay.
A
Not
team.
collegiate. No, hey, come on,
Okay.
we like our jobs. Okay. So who is your first draft pick if you're building Team USA on the
Dang.
men's side?
Now we're limited to Team USA because I had an international team.
No. You're building Team USA. You can make the person American.
It
Come
has
on,
to
we
be.
can't just be Americans. You can't. No, pick somebody. Come on.
No. Hey, look,
He's
hold on a
changing
second.
the rules.
Hold on a second. Okay,
I'm
first
sorry.
of all, let's
Yes, sir.
be clear here. Listening
Yes,
is
sir.
fundamental.
You're in
this
trouble.
world, sir.
You're in charge. I'm sorry.
We are building Team USA here.
I don't want to build.
Big
Team
League
USA.
Chew, who is your okay, well, you're gonna do it anyway. Who is your first round draft pick for the men?
For the men,
Yeah.
I am going with this is corny. I'm going with Harrison. I'm
Javon?
going with Harrison.
Okay. I don't think it's corny at all.
What, Javon Harrison?
No.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry.
That's not who she was
No.
talking about.
Yeah.
She was talking about Harrison Williams,
Yeah.
the decathlete.
Yeah.
That is corny.
That
Go ahead.
is.
That is very corny, by the way. So,
Okay.
whoa, dang, Big League. We're you and I got to talk later. Okay, anyway, so, Governor, what do you got? What was that,
Oh man.
Governor? Who you picking?
She's like the gift that just keeps on giving.
Oh, shush. I have my reasons.
We're sure you do. I'm not sure we want to hear them, but I'm sure you do.
Man.
That's one of those weird things about you, right? So,
Yeah.
Yep.
Governor, who you picking?
I'm picking Noah Lyles.
Okay.
He is on the right path, and he right now he's not shying away from the spotlight. I see him being a magnet to draw people in. I'm all about it.
Okay. Trash Panda.
Oh, this one's easy for me. I'm picking Ryan Krauser.
Oh,
Dang it.
good
See,
one.
as
Good one.
my wheels kept turning and I got there.
No redo,
know.
Missy.
I know.
No. And because I better pick this, I'm picking Flamingo.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I was gonna say Flamingo. I was like,
Yeah.
I can't take
I thought that was already off.
And I
so
think
didn't even try.
that like our picks, Noah's a leader, Grant's a leader,
Mhm.
Ryan's a leader. I don't know Harrison, so I picked
Harrison's a leader. It's an interesting pick.
Exactly. She has her reasons. Okay, so
Selfish
now
reasons.
we're gonna go to the women's side, and we're gonna go back to Big League. And
I'm
see
going
what,
with Anna. I'm stealing Anna from you on that one. I have to get Anna.
All right, good.
Wait, do we have to pick different people? We can't just because she took Anna. Like we can't pick Anna.
Yeah, I mean, come on. If it's a draft, you can't pick Anna. She just took.
It's Governor's turn, isn't it?
No.
Yeah,
it is the Governor's turn. I'm sorry.
Gabby Thomas.
See,
I'm not gonna have a pick when you guys are done.
oh God, you just destroyed my life. Oh wait, what am I talking about? I'm gonna take Sid.
Okay.
And I'm done.
I mean, you
what?
can take Sid's training partner.
Hold on a second. I was getting ready to say. See, I've got two choices here, and I'm going to take a thing because she's a thing. And with a side note to the new and improved to be Jasmine Moore. So that's my side note to that.
Very nice.
Yeah. So, okay.
Been hearing some things going on in Gatorsville.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
We're just working hard like everybody else. Man.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Nothing special going on here. There's nothing to see here. Keep moving.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
Well, we want to thank you guys again for joining us. We appreciate it. Hope that we were entertaining. I hope you learned a little bit. And we hope that the next 7 days treat you well. Big League, you have something you want to say?
I do. I wanted to give a quick special shout out to two teams who actually just got the axe. I want to just give them recognition for the things that they have done in their past. recognize the coaches and the student athletes who have been affected. So just to be on the lookout, because these things are still happening. So Lindenwood just recently cut their men's program, and then Western Kentucky cut their program as well. So
Their men's program?
The track team's gone.
Yeah.
Men and women. Wow.
Yeah.
So
Well, we send our heartfelt, I want to say condolences
I know.
to everybody involved there. And we hope that everybody lands on their feet, and maybe there'll be a reinstatement push and get some of those things back in place. But on that sad note,
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
No, you're good. We hope that everybody has a great week. We will see you again in 7 days. Everybody behave yourselves, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye, everyone.